Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Now before we do get into today's story, I do want to give you a warning. It does contain talk of emotional abuse, bipolar disorder, and parental neglect and abuse. So if you do want to skip the story, timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. And this is from Reasonable Read 222 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and says, am I the arsehole for excluding my adopted sister from family photos at my wedding? I 26 female and my adopted sister Ali is 14 female. The way we're related is that my younger brother Michael, 24 male, has been with his wife Maya, 24 female, since their freshman year of high school. Maya and Ali are sisters and had a really bad home life, and my mum is very much a my home is open to everyone type of person. So over that year, Maya began spending more and more time at our house, eventually bringing Ali over as well, since she was always babysitting. By the time Michael and Maya were 16 years old, Maya basically lived in the guest room, and Ali spent after school, most weekends, holidays, and summer vacation at our house. My mum and dad say that they love both Maya and Ali like their own children. My other siblings, 18 male and 16 female, also treat her like she's part of the family. Even after Maya and Michael moved out, Ali is still at their house the same amount, if not more than she was before. Now, to preface, I have nothing against Ali. She's a good kid and I make an effort to be nice to her. However, I've never really liked how she was foisted into our lives. She's not actually adopted and she still has parents and her own family. Yet my parents spend so much time and resources on her. It's ridiculous. Everyone else has started unironically calling her their daughter or sister, and I've refused. I just don't consider her to be family. Anyways, I got married recently, which is where the issues start. I invited Ali to the wedding, of course, and she came with all of my other family. When we were doing pictures of the wedding parties, I decided that I wanted one with all my immediate family. So my parents, my siblings, and Maya and Michael's daughter. My mum brought Ali up to come take the picture with us, and I was forced to tell her no. My mum started to get upset, but then Ali said it was okay and sat down by herself. My mum isn't a very confrontational person, so didn't make a big deal out of it. But then everyone else realized that Ali wasn't there, and they got mad as well. Ultimately, we took the photo how I wanted because they didn't want to do this at my wedding. But my entire family is pissed at me now. My mum said that Ali cried when she got home because I don't love her, which I don't. I feel like they forced into a position where I had to do an arsehole thing by forcing this kid onto me. I don't think I should have to consider her family if I don't want to. Am I the arsehole? Edit. After the ceremony but before the reception, the wedding party and both of our close families took photos. I did not include Ali in this photo session, and she sat with the rest of the regular guests waiting for dinner. I did not intentionally exclude her from any of the photos taken. I'm sure she's in some of them from throughout the night, especially because she was there with my family. I hope that clears some things up. Now, I'll say straight away that this post was overwhelmingly voted "You're the arsehole," but there was some varying opinions in the comments. The first "You're the arsehole" came in from particular title 42, who says, I'm so sorry, but you're the arsehole. Unless my math is failing me, the child entered your life when you were 16 and she was about 4, and you already had 3 other biological siblings younger than you, but older than her. Your words sound resentful, as if you started being neglected at that time. But you're taking it out on Ali like her sister/babysitter removing her from a really bad home life as a preschooler was her fault. Like she had designs on worming her way into your family. That's not what happened. I hope you understand that. Perhaps therapy could help. Edit for clarity. You're the arsehole because you know you were a dick to Ali at your wedding. You could have gotten your immediate family photos in a much nicer fashion. Edit 2 because people trying to keep giving me information that I already have. I know Ali is not adopted. I know she is not OP's family. I know that Maya is really Ali's sister. I know that OP has every right to exclude whoever she feels like on her wedding day. I know she owes Ali nothing. I still think she's an arsehole for the way she behaved. I'm not sure why everybody wants to change my mind about it. Edit 3. Michael and Maya's relationship did not start when they were 16. I questioned my math because I'm not sure how old people are when they're freshmen. I was 14 to 15, so I went with 14. So Squeaky Wheels replied to that and said, no, this is not the arsehole. OP was pretty much grown when this girl started coming around the family. If I was 16 to 18 and my brother's girlfriend's kid sister started coming round, I'd have pretty much nothing to do with her too. You're busy with friends in school, then college. This girl might be family to the parents and brother, but not to OP, and OP is 1000% reasonable for wanting a family photo with the people she grew up with. Which says against the grain a bit, but no one's an arsehole here. Judging by the ages, you were practically out the house when Ali became a factor into your family's lives. It does seem like you didn't have a chance to develop the same relationship with her as the rest of your family. She is family to them, she's not family to you. That is not really anyone's fault, but kinda how the circumstances came out. You have no official relationship and no personal relationship. While you could have taken the extra photograph to keep the peace the day of, the fact is, you would have felt weird including someone neither of you nor your fiancé consider family in a photograph, and likely preferred the photograph without her as is. If that's the one you chose to display at any point, it's just tabling the same fight for another time. She was essentially invited to keep the peace as is, and not because you wanted to celebrate your wedding with her. You just didn't mind her coming along. It's your wedding day and supposed to be about celebrating with family and the people supportive of the couple, which Ali technically is not because you guys have no real relationship. There might actually be a slight arsehole to the parents. If they want you to accept Ali as a sister, what have they done to build a relationship between you guys? It kinda seems like they expected you to just have one, and it doesn't work like that with older children. We actually see a lot of that in this sub with step and half siblings. This is really the same scenario. OP just has no personal relationship to Ali, so it makes sense OP would feel weird about a stranger to her being in the wedding photos. New Prairie Girl says not the arsehole. She's a good family friend, she is not a sister-in-law. She is the sister-in-law's sister. She has parents, a family and a bedroom that she goes home to at night. Although your parents are invested in her, she is not your sister, adopted or otherwise. Temporary King says you're the arsehole, I can see why you're using fake names. Not sure when It's My Wedding started to be an excuse to be cruel and self-centered. Don't worry about calling her family as everybody got the message loud and clear and that she is not in your eyes. Ali bowed out of the pics and showed some more grace and maturity at 14 than you have. The child has probably been through a lot, but publicly rejecting her and shaming her could well be a defining moment for her to look back on. Good thing is you will be a memorable person in her life, but for all the wrong reasons. Honestly don't understand why you had to make such a point over a photo. Digital, right? You could have had multiple shots done and selected the one you wanted was blood pure. More than a few tinges that you might be jealous of her are coming through. This makes me sick to my stomach. And one more comment from Maybe Hughes who says, wow, massively weird energy on this comment thread, not the arsehole. I think a bottom line principle is that nobody should ever be forced to be family with anyone, period. All these Am I the Arsehole commenters seem to grasp that it's just fine when a step sibling or step parent is forced onto someone. That framework applies here. If you truly are kind to Ali, that's all you owe to her. My God, you're allowed to take a family photo at your wedding. So a little while later, OP comes back into the post to update and says, the people who are agreeing with me are starting to convince me that I'm wrong. The people calling my parents nasty things in my PMs or just saying that they aren't good people, you are dead wrong. My mum is the most caring and kind-hearted woman in the world, and I should have made that more clear in my post. To be clear, I am also not a monster. I don't mistreat Ali. I get her birthday and Christmas gifts every year. However, I'm starting to understand that I did do a shitty thing by publicly excluding her at my wedding because I wanted it to be exactly how I imagined. Especially because my mum was apparently blindsided by my feelings. I was 16 to 18 when Ali started coming around a lot, and I didn't form the same bond that everyone else did. I never super liked being around kids, including my sister, who by all accounts behaved way worse than Ali ever did. But I recognize that she's become part of our family, and I think I'm going to make more of an effort to get to know her properly, because I do know she is very mature and intelligent for her age. Also, I don't mean to minimize what Maya and Ali have gone through. By saying she wasn't physically abused, I'm also meant to explain why she had been legally removed from her mother's house. She does have extended family that actually cares about her, but they live at minimum an hour away, so she stays with my parents the majority of the time. Thank you for all your input." And the comments were still like split all over the place on this one. Some people saying, she is part of your family now, like OP said in their update. And it was incredibly sad that a 14-year-old was sort of cast aside, especially during the wedding day as well. Other people saying that you can't force people to be family members and you had every right to do what you did. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story is a bit of workplace drama from individual usual 880 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and says, "Am I the arsehole for bringing a hand vacuum to the office and then reporting colleague to HR? Throwaway due to privacy. I, female 31, recently found out I am allergic to dust mites. 30 years I've been told that I was being hormonal, overthinking, on PMS and other things when raising my concerns of my health. Mostly because I am a woman. I would have severe rash and the only answer is your hormones. Once you will have your first period in pregnancy, it'll go over. Not. Then cold-like symptoms, again, is due to hormones. It'll be over when you'll get pregnant. Again, not. I guess this will be relevant later. Now, I'm back at my work after my maternity leave and I work at an IT company with open office for 200 employees. So when you come inside, it's all computers as far as the eye can see, which is a lot of dust due to poor building ventilation systems. So in order to reduce dust, at least on my desk, I have a very small and silent vacuum. And just clean my desk every morning. Again, might be relevant later. I clock in around 7 AM. The only people on the floor are kitchen workers and security. Recently, a colleague of mine, let's say Tom, male 35-ish, started to give me snarky comments about how I'm overreacting and I have OCD and should go to therapy and maybe take some leave. I politely thanked him for being concerned about my mental health, but I'm not overreacting, but rather following my allergy protocol. I gave no more details as I don't think it's any concern of his. We aren't close and I purely see him as my colleague, so business only. I also asked him to stop that behavior as it makes me feel uncomfortable, as if I should be ashamed of being allergic, which I am not. Tons of people have the same issues. Unfortunately, the comments didn't stop. I asked several times to stop, and one day I felt like I had had enough and emailed HR explaining the situation. Well, shit hit the fan and dude got a note saying one more complaint, even in Word, and he's out. But now he's pissed and told me that I was overreacting and pulled a typical female and I could have just stopped with my bullshit and he would have stopped. I talked with my husband and he sides with me, saying that Tom is now gaslighting me, my friends and other colleagues are divided. Which got me thinking that maybe I took this way too much and I should have taken anti-allergy pills in the morning to help me throughout the day. Part of me thinks that Tom is a misogynist douchebag who just hates women, and if not me, other co-workers would end up as his target, and his attitude towards women just pissed me off as I faced some same BS throughout all my life, and he was just the unlucky one who crossed the line. So Redditors, am I the arsehole? Now obviously I don't know anything, so I'm going to throw out a jumping statement here, but HR's reaction to that is saying that there's more to this guy than we actually know about right now, that they know of him, and who the fuck does that anyway? This guy that you don't really know that well, that you only have like a business relationship with, if you like, comes up to you and tells you that you have OCD and should go to therapy and maybe take some leave. Like it's any of his fucking business. Absolutely not the arsehole to me, but someone suggests other allergy options to OP and OP says thank you. I'm still quite new to all of this, so every suggestion is more than welcome. I'm waiting for insurance to confirm my request for allergy shots. I live outside the US and normally a lot of things would be free, but for that I need to go through a hell of a protocol, so it's faster to use my insurance for that. I'm pretty sure I will get the okay from them. It's just a standard procedure. There is a cleaning team in the office, but they clean every evening and all the computers are on all night. Thus extra cleaning in the morning makes my day somewhat bearable versus if I stop doing that. I know that our office admin alerted building admin that ventilation systems should be checked, but it's a bit complicated with them. Someone suggests that the vacuuming could be triggering and OP says per my understanding no. as I do everything before most of the people get into the office. I get it that even a silent vacuum can trigger others, so I get to the office early to make me and everyone else feel comfortable. But in the comments, Stellar Phenom 420 says, not the arsehole. Him telling you you're acting like a typical female is one more word, and I hope you relayed that conversation to HR as well. His only response should have been, I'm sorry for what I said. The irony that he said all you had to do was ask him to stop, but when you did ask, he just doubled down. He gets what he's earned here. Melting Mandarin says, not the arsehole. Tom isn't gaslighting. He's not denying events happened. He's being a straight up misogynistic arsehole. And he's stupid. What kind of idiot responds to a formal HR warning by being sexist? Typical female. To the face of a person who complained. He needs to go. It'd be relatively normal to whinge about the event behind the complainer's back. Not great, but upset people do whine, and sometimes they need peers saying, yeah, but HR do have a point, before it really sinks in. But saying it to your face isn't normal at all. It's incredibly aggressive. I wouldn't want to have them as an employee. Too much risk. Another commenter says, not the arsehole, and it appears that Tom will become the latest example in fuck around and find out. He's continuing to push the issue and harass you. Yes, this is harassment. He probably has a history of bullshit like this. You should not feel bad that you are defending yourself appropriately. Report him and don't sweat it, or him. As for any friends and family that are defending him, maybe time to reevaluate your relationships with them also. So, OP was voted not the arsehole on this story, and the next day they came in and said, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I did email HR again. After half an hour, Tom was summoned to a meeting with HR and the head of office. Not sure what exactly was discussed, GDPR, but he told everyone he is resigning and he was let go as of today. Normally there's a 20-day notice period unless you can negotiate otherwise. His boss is pissed, but I've noticed a handful of other employees seem to be relieved. So I do believe that many of you were right. Tom indeed had done something before, and probably not only once. Also, HR wrote me that either I could leave early today, or if I considered leaving late and take the day off tomorrow, he doesn't want Tom to leave at the same time as me. This got me thinking that I do work in a great company, and tomorrow I'll have a nice day off and spend it with my son. Fuck around and find out indeed. I always sit back after stories like that and I'm trying to imagine this workplace office and this Tom guy and what goes through your mind to approach someone like that. There can't be much, can there? I mean, fucking hell. Such bizarre behavior. But anyway, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have one more story from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update as yet. From FunService5780 and says, am I the arsehole for accusing my cousins of taking their grief out on me and telling them naming my kids is nothing to do with them? I, 31 male, am the only surviving member of my family. When I was 5, I lost my mum and my 4 older siblings in an accident. I was then raised by my maternal grandparents. After the initial accident, my family were told none of us had survived, and so I was surprised when the news reached them. My grandparents, aunts, and uncles were all thrilled, but my cousins? They were much closer to my siblings. They were similar ages to them. I was 6 years younger than my youngest sister and 8 years younger than my youngest cousin. I wasn't really in with my cousins. With my siblings, we were a tight unit, and they would often reject our cousins when they weren't interested in a baby tagging along. I think when I was the one who came home, not one of my siblings, I think my cousins hated me for it. We never got close. It was always weird. But then a few weeks ago, we were at my grandparents' house for a celebration. It was my husband and me with our 4 kids. My cousins were all huddled together for a while and then started dropping comments to me about the choice to give my kids their own names and not honor my mum or siblings with their names. They asked me how I could claim to love and miss my family when I didn't think to honor them, or how I could act like they meant the world to me when I don't want my kids to know about them via their names, because they know about them. I did my best to avoid them the rest of the celebration. And a couple of weeks after that, we were all together again for my aunt's retirement party. The comments continued there, and they told me that they would have named their kids after my mum or siblings, but their parents had suggested it should be reserved for me and left alone if I didn't, because maybe it would be too painful. They told me I hogged my family just like I hogged my siblings back then. I didn't even love them as much as they did. I became so frustrated when we're all in a room alone together because I followed them. I told them they should not be taking their grief out on me. I told them I never tried stopping them from using the names of my mum and siblings for their kids. They never said anything about wanting that to me until they decided to make all those bitter comments. I told them I was sorry they were grieving, but I could not take responsibility for coming back and not my siblings, and that naming my kids has nothing to do with them, so drop the comments about it showing a lack of love. I told them I was not going to be their emotional punching bag and did not deserve their grief being taken out on me. Ever since then, they have responded with a lot more anger, saying I have no right to accuse them of that, and that they have every right to make an observation on my kids' names. It's become so tiring, and I'm questioning if I was wrong to say all that I did. Am I the arsehole? That is absolutely heartbreaking for you after what you've been through as well. For your family to be treating you like this, you know, there might be grief involved. They might just be arseholes. There's not an excuse for the behavior that they're showing towards you. And their comments are just absolutely disgusting, that they're saying that you're showing a lack of love by not naming your children after them. Again, after what you've already been through in life. How dare they? The Dogs Reading Book says not the arsehole. There's something seriously wrong with your cousins. Successful Bath says not the arsehole. You need to cut this toxicity out of your life. Time to cut them out. If they can't be civil, then don't be around them. And that's right, isn't it? It's one of those ones that, what are they actually bringing to your life? They just seem to be showing you disrespect, being toxic towards you, and showing you no love. So why would you want these people around you? But Beneficial Noise says that angry reaction, that is guilt and embarrassment, you called them on it. Really common guilt and embarrassment reaction is to get angry and keep up the anger to avoid facing the reason behind it. Not the arsehole. Tell the family your cousins have got their desire and you are dead to them now. Sit back and enjoy the meltdown. And one more comment from Mrs. Nasty, who says not the arsehole, not the arsehole, not the arsehole. Your cousins sound exhausting and openly rude. It was you that suffered the most loss, not them. How dare they try to push their grief onto you, as if you're the reason they have it. You are very polite. I would have dropped the F-bombs onto all of them. Disgraceful behavior. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.